Welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar, and I'm going to talk to you about runaway millionaires. Why are millionaires leaving their countries, especially BRIC countries, and going to G7 countries? But before we get into the discussion, please subscribe to Khanversations, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share this video with your socio-political network. Millionaires are running away from certain parts of the world to another parts of the world. It seems that the biggest region which is losing millionaires is the BRICS. So there's a lot of talk about growth of BRICS, the huge GDP growth rate of BRICS economies, the expansion and the improvement of the quality of life in BRIC countries. For those of you who do not know the BRIC countries, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and then there is a addition of some new countries, which also include Iran and Ethiopia, Egypt. So at least from the original BRIC countries, there seems to be a significant flight of millionaires. And I'm going to talk to you about it. So if you look at this particular data that you see, it shows or it talks about where the millionaires are going and where are they running away from. So I need to enlarge this slide so I can comment on it. So let's look at it. So I'm going to use the data from 2023 as well as 2024. So if you look at the latest data, the biggest loss of millionaires is from China. 15,200 millionaires left China. When we say millionaires left China, it doesn't mean that they are leaving their assets behind. They are leaving, and they are leaving with their millions. So the scope of my commentary is brief. So I don't know in detail as to what they're doing. Are they liquidating their assets and just taking cash and moving, or are they just moving to a different country while they still own businesses, etc. in China? So 1 foot abroad, 1 foot in China. I don't know. But for example, there are many who are leaving India, and we know for sure that India does not have dual citizenship. So it will become very difficult for businessmen who own large amounts of assets, especially if there are land assets, etc., to leave India. But anyway, so that's one issue that I want you to keep in mind, that I can't shed much light on into the specific cases, but it is clearly apparent that if these people go away, their incomes are gone. So it does impact to a little extent some GDP, but it also definitely impacts taxation. What if some of them are billionaires, and then you suddenly find that you're losing a lot of taxes? For big countries like India and China, it may not be such a big issue, but still, the steady stream of millionaires leaving year after year after year is quite problematic. I will show you later that it is quite interesting that while BRICS is losing millionaires, the countries which are gaining millionaires are G7 countries. Of course, the biggest recipient is United Arab Emirates, which in 2024 got 6,700 millionaires moved to Dubai, basically. But if you look at the second biggest is UK, which came as a huge surprise. They lost 9,500 millionaires. This is an interesting commentary on Keir Starmer's new government. It was a foregone conclusion that Labour was going to win the elections in UK. So is this a reflection on rich people in UK thinking, oh my God, now that Labour has come to power, there's no point in staying in UK? Or generally, they do not like the business climate, the political climate in UK, and they are moving away. Unfortunately, this particular data set does not tell you from which country to which country. So there are no vectors pointing the directionality of the movement. But to me, the biggest surprise was that people are moving to Japan. So Japan has gained 400 millionaires in 2024, while South Korea has lost 1,200. So there are, most of these countries are former global south or current global south. So the biggest is China, losing 15,200. Next is UK with 9,500. Then India losing 4,300 millionaires. After that, it is South Africa. And then Brazil losing 800. So, and Russia losing only 1,000. And I'll tell you why it's only 1,000 in 2024, because a lot of them actually left in 2023 and immediately after the war began in 2022. So if you look at the red bubbles in the map, you can see it's Brazil, India, China, Russia, South Africa, and the only other big bubble really there is UK. Maybe this should be this data should be enough for BRICS to offer an instantaneous membership to UK. Yeah, come on, brother, join us. But look at the gains. Canada gained 3,200 millionaires. United States gained 3,800 millionaires. Singapore has gained. Italy has gained 2,200. Portugal, Southern Europe is gaining. Greece has gained 1,200. So it's very interesting that G20 Western countries continue to get millionaires. Even the United States, in spite of all the anti-American sentiment worldwide and criticism of America and the high taxations in countries like Canada, millionaires are going there. I think most of the millionaires who moved to Singapore are probably from China. Those who have moved to United Arab Emirates are probably from UK and India to some extent. A lot of Indians also go to Australia, which is also a major recipient of millionaires. Compare this to last year, and you find that last year China lost 13,500 and this year 15,200. So the traffic out of China is increasing. That further adds to China's growing economic problems. There is no domestic consumption. Obviously, there is insecurity. That's why the rich are packing and going. The second country, there is an increase. So in 2023, only 3,200 people left Britain, millionaires. And then suddenly you find that it has jumped 300% nearly. 9,500 millionaires have left UK. Brazil has improved. So it went from 1,200 to 800. Even Mexico was losing millionaires. It's not losing much this year, but it lost 700 last year. South Africa lost 500 last year, and it lost 600 this year. So you can see that the traffic out of some BRICS countries has increased. India lost 6,500 in 2023, and it has lost 4,300 this year. So compared to, say, Brazil, India, South Africa, Brazil and South Africa, India and Russia are losing less millionaires, whereas China, South Africa, and Brazil have seen, even Brazil has lost fewer. Last year, they lost 1,200, they lost 800 this year. So this is an interesting trend. It reflects, to some extent, the perception of the upper class and the rich as to the livability of the country. It also reflects upon the political environment. It also reflects upon business environment. It also reflects upon taxation. So these are some of the factors: political insecurity, safety, the business environment, quality of life. And so people feel that they need to move elsewhere. So if you're doing a business which you can probably run from anywhere, you would, and if you have a lot of money, why not move to Dubai? You get a great quality of life, or move to Orlando, and you have wonderful things. Move to US and Canada. They're great schools for your children, and so on and so forth. So here are the lists, not the graphs. So if you see millionaires lost in 2024, the number one is China, the UK, India, then South Korea, then Russia, then Brazil, and then South Africa. So the only unusual ones are South Korea and UK, which are both, by the way, part of G20, and UK is a G7 country. So if you look at the top 7, BRICS are 5 of the top 7. Taiwan is also losing, but we can understand that. They're probably fearing some kind of an invasion. There's a lot of talk and chatter that China might imminently invade Taiwan. But the surprise package to me is Vietnam and Nigeria. Why are millionaires leaving? Well, I can understand Nigeria, but Vietnam, which is seeing a boom in manufacturing, and most of the uh, supply chain is trying to shift from China to Vietnam. So why are they leaving? The countries that are attracting most millionaires are United Arab Emirates and the US. This I'm quite happy to say. I was quite impressed with that the US is attracting the rich. Yes, in the past, I understand that this is a great country to invest. But given all the political turmoil, etc., I was surprised that the US is still more attractive than Singapore, Canada, Australia, even Switzerland. And the surprise package obviously is Japan. I wonder who are these millionaires who are moving to Japan. Japan historically has not been very friendly to foreigners. It's not exactly a multicultural country. So I can understand that people are choosing to go to US and Canada. I have lots of wealthy relatives who live in the Middle East, but who have taken Canadian citizenship and will eventually rush to Canada if the political situation in those countries becomes dicey. India should ask this question that since there's so much hype about India as to why it is losing its rich, and these are obviously not probably Muslims, because these are rich millionaire Hindus who are leaving India, even as the country becomes more and more Hinduized. So it's a question that people need to ask. In fact, for all these countries, for China, we can understand the economy is going down. UK, that I'm not surprised, but I can't put a finger on what are the precise reasons why. Yes, the economy is not doing well, but if you're rich and you live in the vicinity of London, why would you want to go? But where are you going? Most probably, a lot of them have shifted to Dubai. You know that the Telegram owner of the Telegram, the communication software, was recently detained in France. It turned out that he had just moved and become a UAE citizen. So because I guess UAE is also giving citizenship, a lot of rich people are moving there. Talking about rich people, I just wanted to also make a particular point. The US government data is out on several things, on wealth, on poverty, health insurance. But I did want to point out to this one data point that came out on the change in income. So the good news is that income estimates have gone up, the median income. So when we say median, this is not the average. It's not total GDP divided by the population. That would be GDP per capita. This is median. Median means it's the middle point. Half the population makes more than this, and half the population makes less than this. So the median income in the United States last year became 80,000, a 4% increase. So it was 77,000 in 2022, and the median income has gone up by 80,000. Inflation was quite high at that time, so probably I don't know whether this is factored for inflation or not. But it's the next point which I have highlighted, which I want to point out. It says that the real median household income increased by 5.4% for all white people, whereas for the whole country it was only 4%. For white people, it's 5.4%. But if you take non-Hispanic white, in the sense you chuck out people like Ted Cruz, people who are Cubans, and who else? Maybe there are other white people from Latin America, etc., who are racially white, but they are of Hispanic origin. So if you just take them up and look at only white people, basically, I guess, English speaking, not Spanish speaking, these people, they had the highest increase in income, which is 5.7%, and there was no significant change in median incomes for Black, Asian, and Hispanic households. What is also interesting is, given the hype about the high level of education and family stability of Asians, it is surprising that only white people have benefited from Biden economics. That's the only point I wanted to make. So why vote for Trump? even the Democrats are good for white people. Actually, in the last 1 year, only for white people. So anyway, that was the point I wanted to make. But I'm going to leave you with this thought. In spite of all the hype about BRICS, why are the rich people from BRICS leaving BRICS for G7? So until next time, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Don't forget to subscribe to Khanversations, like this video, press the bell icon, and share this video with your friends and your social political network.